Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about something that is fundamentally changing what it means to manage a project successfully. It's not just about getting it done anymore, it's about how we get it done and the impact that work leaves behind.
Okay, I want to start with just one number, 53%. Just let that sink in for a second. What do you think that number means for project management? Because believe me, this single figure, it really sets the stage for everything we're about to talk about.
Yeah, that's it. More than half of all projects last year were directly impacted by extreme weather events linked to climate change. And what's really wild is how fast that's happened. It was only 38% back in 2021. So this isn't some far-off problem we can kick down the road. No, this is happening right now, messing with schedules and blowing up budgets.
So, this new reality, it kind of forces our hand, right? We have to ask ourselves a pretty tough question. Are the old ways of doing things, the models we've relied on for, 50 years? Are they actually enough anymore? Is just being on time and on budget really the whole story when you're dealing with challenges like this?
Okay, to answer that, we gotta go back to basics. Let's look at the bedrock of project management, the framework that's pretty much run the show for decades.
You've probably all heard of this. It's the iron triangle, or the triple constraint. It came about back in the 60s, thanks to Dr. Martin Barnes. And for generations of project managers, this was the absolute Bible. On time, on budget, on scope. That was it. Success was all about juggling those three things. But, as we just saw, the world's thrown a few new balls into the mix.
So fast forward to the 1990s, and you start to see a new idea bubbling up. People began to think, hey, maybe our definition of success is a little narrow. It was time to think bigger than just the traditional bottom line.
And that's where John Elkington comes in. In 1994, he just completely shook things up with this idea of the triple bottom line. His argument was actually pretty simple, but it was revolutionary at the time. He said, you can't just measure performance by profit. You have to look at your impact on people, that's the social side, and your impact on the planet, the environmental side. And this was a huge first step toward thinking about value in a much bigger, more complete way.
So you see this evolution, right? From just pure operational stuff to this bigger, more holistic idea of value. And that's what's led us to where we are now, a totally modern, integrated way to think about projects. And right here, you can see that evolution laid out so clearly. On one side, you have the old school, time, cost, scope. But look at the right. That's the new way, the P5 standard. It takes those old ideas and just expands them. Cost becomes prosperity, which is a much bigger concept, right? And then you add these other crucial pillars: people, planet, process, and of course, the product itself. This is a massive shift. We're not just juggling constraints anymore. We're actively trying to create real, lasting, sustainable value.
Okay, so this P5 thing sounds good. It sounds noble. But does it actually work? Does it make a real difference out there? Let's take a look at the numbers.
Well, the data from folks on the ground is pretty clear. In a big survey, the number of project managers who said they saw real, tangible benefits from using the P5 standard, it jumped from 71% in 2019 all the way up to 83% in 2022. So it's not just that more people know about it, it's that more people are using it and getting real results.
And check this out. It gets even better. When you zoom in on the project managers who were actively using the P5 framework, a whopping 95% of them saw increased benefits for sustainability. 95%. That's not just a small bump. That is a total game changer. It shows a crystal clear link. You use the framework, you get the results.
What makes this whole thing so powerful is that it isn't just some corporate jargon that lives in a spreadsheet somewhere. The P5 standard is directly connected. It's mapped to the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. So what does that mean? It means your project, whether it's a new app or a new building, can actually contribute to solving these huge global challenges. It creates a straight line from the work you do every day to making the world a better place.
Which brings us to our last, and honestly, maybe the most important point of all. This whole shift, it isn't just about a new checklist or a new process. It's about a new mission, a new mandate for what it even means to be a professional in this field.
And this quote from Green Project Management, wow, they don't pull any punches. They're basically saying that if project managers want to be seen as true professionals, on the same level as other fields, then they must embrace sustainability. It's not a nice to have anymore. It's a core competency.
And that just raises the stakes completely, doesn't it? If we as project managers want to be seen as equals to, say, engineers or architects or accountants,
then we have to accept the responsibilities that come with that title. And that means acting ethically, acting for the good of society. In the world we live in today, you just can't separate that responsibility from managing our impact on people and the planet. So sustainability stops being just a tool, and it becomes part of our professional ethics. It's who we are.
So, that brings us to the final question, and this one's for you. When you're thinking about your next project, what's its foundation going to be? Are you going to stick with the old triangle, just managing constraints, or are you going to build on this new foundation of real, sustainable value? Because the choice you make, well, it doesn't just define the success of that one project, it defines your legacy as a professional.